Hello. Yes, it's about time. It's about time that I talk about the 1988 film and one of my favorite films, Big, starring Tom Hanks. Guys, if you don't remember, back in September, I was doing random reviews. I would take Blu-rays, put it in a bin, stick my hand in, pull it out, and whatever random one I drew, I would review. I was doing pretty good. I decided to stop doing it, but unfortunately, before I decided to stop, I pulled out Big, and I never got to review it. I watched it, I just never reviewed it for some reason. Something happened where I just didn't get to review it, or something happened. Well, I watched it again. I'm here to review it. This is one of my favorite movies growing up. Big. My grandma had it on VHS, so I popped it in all the time, and I watched it. The story is Josh Baskin is turning 13 years, gonna turn 13 years old. He's 12 when he starts. He's 13. People get confused. They're like, he's 12. Oh, he's 13. It's both. Actually, he's 12 when it starts. His birthday's in the middle of the movie, so he turns 13 then. But Josh is a 12 going on 13-year-old boy who is kind of short. One night at the fair, he wants to ride this ride, but he's not tall enough, so he wishes on the Zoltar machine to make him big. He wakes up the next morning to find himself a 30-year-old Tom Hanks. He then is forced to grow up. He gets a job, he finds a girlfriend, the whole thing, and in the end realizes that it's not where he belongs. So, let's talk about Big, alright? Let's talk about Big. Like I said, growing up, there were two Tom Hanks movies I watched a lot when I was a kid. This, and Joe versus the Volcano, which I feel like I should review too, but I don't have it. So, eventually I'll get it, and I'll review it, but for now, it's just Big. I always thought the idea of, and I remember watching it when I was younger, and they made it Big, and he turns into an adult, and I'm like, no, that's not what he meant. My grandma's like, yes, I know. I was a very literal child. But he's big, turns into a 30-year-old man, that's the point of it. He relies, this part has always sort of bugged me, after he turns big, he tries to go back to the carnival, but it's gone. And they do that in multiple movies and shows, like the Nori Afraid of the Dark did it. Do carnivals really pack up that quick? Like, first of all, I've never heard of a one-day carnival. There might be, but I've never, been to one. So it's weird, right? Like, or it could have been the last night of the carnival, now that I think about it. But he's there, and the next day they're just gone. Like, all gone. Is it that quick that they're gone? Because I cleaned up at a fair, and there's a lot of stuff there. I don't think it could be gone that fast. I'm just saying. But he gets there, it's gone, there's no Zoltar machine, so he goes back home. Now, he tries to tell his mom what's going on, and his mom's just freaking out. Now, eventually, she does do this, but at the beginning, she's freaking out, Oh, he doesn't do anything except for walk in the house. She's like, and he's like, oh, and he wipes his shoes off, comes back, and he's like, I'm like, why? You don't know if he's a bad person or not. All he did was walk through the front door. A normal response would be, who are you? Why are you in my house? Right? Later, she freaks out, like, he tries to tell her, I'm your son, and she comes to the conclusion that he kidnapped her son, and she's like, where's my son? What are you doing with my son? He got the clothes he's wearing, he got from her room, so it's his dad's clothes. He thinks she would recognize them. But no, he was forced to run away, he's forced to go to his best friend. And I like how he tries to tell his mom, my baseball team is called the Dukes. But it's not necessarily, because, he could be a stalker, so you never know. He goes to his best friend Billy, who's at school, and he tries to tell him what's going on. Billy's freaked out, too. And Billy's a little boy, so it's right that he's freaked out. The mom Should have been more level-headed. That's what I've always thought. But he convinces Billy of who he is by reciting this little poem rhyme thing that they do. The space goes down, down, baby, down by the roller coaster, sweet, sweet baby, I'll never let you go. Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, shimmy, shimmy, rock, shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop, shimmy, shimmy, rock. I had a girlfriend, a Triscuit. She said, Triscuit, a biscuit, ice cream and soda pop, vanilla on top. Ooh, Shalita, walking on the street 10 times a week. I made it, I said it, I saw my mama's credit. I'm cool, I'm hot, sock me in the stomach 3 more times. And that's how he convinces him. So now Billy is going to help him get this Zoltar machine so he can turn back. But until then, he's got to adapt to adult life. He's got to get a job. He's got to get an apartment, which they do in the city, which... Is it Philadelphia? Is it Pennsylvania? Is that where they are in Philadelphia? Because... I think they're... Because I don't think it's New York. I think it's Philadelphia. I'm not 100% sure, but I think... Does it say? Apparently, Tom Hanks received an Oscar nomination for this film. I did not know that. I don't know. I always thought maybe it was Philadelphia. I don't know. But, his first Oscar nomination, actually. So, he stays the night in this, and you know, because his performance is great, actually. It shows you what it's like. He's an adult playing a kid. So, his first night in the hotel, it's a seedy motel, there's gunshots, there's yelling, and he just... Which makes sense. You're a kid, you're in a strange place, but you look like an adult, you don't know what to do, you know? He gets a job at this, it's a toy company, but he's down in the processing, computers and stuff, because he's good with computers. Eventually, though, he gets a promotion when he comes up with a toy idea, and he bonds with the owner of the company, or at least a manager or something, played by Robert Loggia. And it, you know, that leads to the famous piano scene in a toy store. Dun 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 dun. They play chopsticks and Heart and Soul, then chopsticks. But yeah, he has to with that. And you know, one of the most interesting things about this film is the fact that Josh is not the only one affected by this. You're sure his parents, his friends, whatever, his friend, whatever. But there's another character, Susan, played by Elizabeth Perkins, who's also affected by Josh. And I'll tell you what I mean. When we first meet Susan, she's stuck up. She's only cares about herself. She chain smokes. She's, you know, just a regular bitch. You know, bitch of the company, and one of those that tries to sleep her way to the top, by chance. She's with, I think his name is Peter, but I'm not for sure, played by John Hurd. I think his name is Peter. And he's one of those, you know, stuffy types in the company that believes they're better than everyone else, and he's, you know, he's got money, so you know who that is, and they're sort of together. And I don't know if they're a couple, but they're sleeping together, that's for sure. And along the way, though, things start to change. She meets Josh at this... Well, they bump into each other in the thing, but then they really get to talking at this party, and Josh takes her back to his apartment. They sleep on the bunk beds, and the next day, she starts being a little playful, messing with the windows like he was, you know, because they're in this limo ride, and he's messing with the windows, going down. He's going... He goes up in the... The sky window with skylight, whatever it's called. You know, the one that, up there. And he goes up and he's doing stuff and they mess around. Stuff like that. And basically, they affect each other because as things go on, she becomes a little more childlike and he becomes a little more adult-like. So, especially after they sleep together. So... she becomes a little more, you know, less self-indulgent. Like, she's not always about herself anymore. She talks to, you know, she's with Josh, and they, you know, they're at some get-together with some friends and everything. She's still a little bit stuck up, but no one's going to change completely. She starts to change a little bit. After, you know, her and Josh start getting together, we don't see her smoke on screen anymore. So you can believe she actually quit smoking, and she leaves Peter. She said she's done with him. She puts that behind her, and even Peter calls her out on wanting to sleep with the guy that's going to get her head, and she says that's not what it's about. It's different with him. He's different, and so like I said, after they sleep together though, Josh starts to act a little bit different. And he starts to act more adult. Before he was still a kid, now he's ordering coffee and he's doing business meetings. He's on the phone. He's acting more adult. Even when Billy comes to talk to him about the Zoltar machine, he doesn't want to go back anymore. He likes the way his life is now. If I'm, sleeping with someone as beautiful as Elizabeth Perkins, I think I would, I think I would choose to stay as an adult too. Just saying. Especially if you go back to being a 13-year-old. Because like I said, his birthday's in the middle of the thing, and he ends up going to hang with Susan. But he gets an argument with Billy, and Billy goes back. There's this moment where Billy talks to Josh's mom through the window, and that's a nice little moment where they talk. They say they both miss Josh. And then Josh starts to realize that this knife's not for him. And he decides he wants to go back. Well, before this, though, he tries to tell Susan what's going on. She doesn't believe him. She thinks he's making it up to get out of the relationship. And so then he tries to talk at the boardroom, and he's trying to present something, and he just gives up in the middle of it and walks off. And he finds the Zoltar machine, and he puts the coin in, and he makes the wish. And then Susan finds him after she talks to Billy, which Billy must go to see him again, I guess. But Billy goes to see him again, and they run into each other. And she talks to Billy. Billy tells her where the thing is, where the Zoltar machine is, and they get to talking. And I thought about this when I was watching it. I don't think she fully believed him yet, because the look on her face, like he tells her, exactly what's going on, and he's 13, and she's like, oh, and he's like, well, come with me. She's like, no, she already lived through all that. She doesn't want to do it again, which I understand, who wants to live through a childhood again? I mean, people, you say, I want to go back and do it all again, but do you want to be a kid back in the years that you were, or do you want to be an adult and go back to those times? Do you want to enjoy those times as a kid, or as you are now, where you can do more with your life? You know what I mean? So, and like I said, I don't know if she fully believes him, but she does when she starts walking, and it's a decent camera cut, but you can tell that they weren't going to do any special effects, because it shows Josh walking, and it cuts to her, and she goes, and then it cuts back, and it's, he's a little kid again. I should mention that the young Josh Baskin is played by David Moscow, who was also in Newsies and Honey and stuff like that. But for his part, it's a small part. But he's pretty good at conveying this child who just wants more. He doesn't. They show you at the beginning he has this crush on a girl. He wants a girlfriend. He wants to be bigger. He wants to do more things, and he gets that, right? He gets a girl. He gets to be bigger. He gets to do more things than he does, but he realizes in the end, he's not ready for that. He wants his normal life back. And then the movie ends with Billy and Josh walking their bikes while Heart and Soul plays in the background. It's a great film, and I didn't realize that Tom Hanks was nominated for an Oscar for this. His first Oscar. Obviously, he's won Oscars before, but at least a Oscar. It's directed by Penny Marshall. It's a fun flick, and there's another scene I want to talk about quick before I end this. It's not really a sex scene. It's the leading up to sex scene. You know what I mean? They don't show anything because it's a PG movie, right? It's a PG movie, so they're not going to show anything. But as a kid, watching this scene, especially when I usually watched it with my grandma, it's very weird. Especially as I got older, and it's weird because it's a scene where even Josh is a little flustered or what's the word? Flustered, nervous. There it is, nervous about it. Where she goes over, she turns the light off, and he turns it back on. He with the light on, he nods, and then she like unzips herself, and he feels it. It's awkward, but it's supposed to be awkward. It's even more awkward when your grandma's sitting next to you and you're trying to watch this movie. But it's supposed to be awkward because he's a 13-year-old boy and he gets to feel his first breast. So it's very awkward. I didn't talk about that earlier, but I want to talk about it. Overall, guys, this movie is one of my favorites. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 for Big. So what are your thoughts on Big? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.